Hi folks. So this subject, I've done it many times. People pleasing and God pleasing. If you are someone who wants to people please, you will never please God. If you are someone who pleases God, then sometimes you will please people. It really that God has said you can have no other gods before him. If you are a people pleaser, then there's something in that where you're putting that above God. Well, as I say, in the River Church, when they said to me, if you can promise to try not to offend people, you can stay in this, you can come to the tea and coffee places, that sort of thing. Yeah. What's that all about? Is it about pleasing God? If you're going to water down truth, because I said to him, okay, so if God gives you something to say and you know that could offend people, would you change it? Would you change the words? And he said yes, he would. He would change the words into words that were less offensive. So if God gave him a message, and in that message there were words that could be taken and that could offend people the way they take them, he would then change the message that God has given. So, in that, what is more important to him than not offending people or God? Well, it has to be than not offending people, doesn't it? And therefore, not offending people he's put that above God. So therefore, as a people pleaser, he can never please God. Because he puts pleasing people above pleasing God. Yes? Okay. But that's why, God has spoken to me and, given me the example of a sheepdog. Because, perfect example to me. And sort of said to me about the point of, the sheepdog doesn't care what the sheep think about that sheepdog chasing them in a certain direction. If the sheepdog cared about what the sheep think, then maybe that sheepdog wouldn't do that. He would stop chasing the sheep. And the sheep that didn't want to go that way, he would stop chasing them. He would say, okay, if you don't want to go there, don't go there. Don't worry. And all the sheep would say no, and the sheepdog would then stop chasing any of them. Yes? Yeah. But that's the point. If you're of God, you're supposed to be like a sheepdog. You care about what God is saying. You care about how God is directing you more than you do that. All of that in front of you, you let God deal with it. You trust in God that God will deal with it. And so therefore, yes. My point was always is that I had to trust God. That if there was someone in that church who was of God, that person would receive. Because that person would go to God about it. Because it's like on the videos. On many of the videos, I would say at the end of them, don't believe me, go to God about it. Why? Because, and if you think I'm saying things in a way that you don't understand, go to God about it. Ask him to help you to understand. Why? Because that's what someone of God is going to do. In all things, they're going to go to God. Someone of church, what are they going to do? They're going to go to church. In all things, they're going to moan to the pastor. They're going to moan to other people in the church, aren't they? Because that's what they do. You go to what is important to you. Someone of God is going to go to God. And so therefore, do I care if people of church get offended? No, because I'm not trying to reach them. If they get offended, I know that they're not the people I'm trying to reach. Simple. So I know that there's no one in the River Church, there's no one in the Community Church of God, not that I know of. Say whether this young lady Becky is someone who can learn, I don't know. It's not my concern, that's up to God. Because again, it's up to her as to how she deals with stuff. And if she's of God, then she will receive, won't she? She will take that instruction and she will receive, and that's the point. That is what she needs to do. And all the rest of it, I don't care. I couldn't care less. Put it this way, if I speak to Vicky and she gets more and more offended, but she goes to God more and more about it, great. Well, then I want to offend her more. If I know she's going to go to God when she gets offended, then brilliant. Can I offend her more? Because the more I offend her, the more that she goes to God. Brilliant. Fantastic. Yeah? So someone of God I could not care less whether I offend those people. Those people not of God, again, I couldn't care less whether I offend them. And the reason why is because they're not of God. I'm not supposed to be dealing with these people. These people are irrelevant to me. And they are, again, I'm not saying that in a way of unkindness. I'm saying that based upon the fact that it's not my job to help them. No. I've done the math in previous videos. I've said in previous videos only maximum 25% of those in church are of God. Maximum. Okay. Well, I know with the River Church now, there's probably about 50% of the people there that I've never met. And of the Community Church of God, there's probably at least 25% to 30% of people there that I've never met. So there may very well still be 25% of people in that church that are of God. I've never met them. And I can't interact with those people that are of God because I can't go to the services, right? Because I've been banned from them. So therefore, okay. The people that I can interact with, I've tested. I've spoken to them and I've seen how people react. And there's no one. Again, I would have to correct that and say, well, yeah, there's no evidence as of yet that there is anyone. But that doesn't mean there isn't someone who's in the beginnings of that. But if that's the case, again, I won't be going back there. I won't be going back to that church or any other church now. It will be up to those people to come to me. Because I won't be going to them. Not anymore, no. Well, as I say, the reality is that when it comes down to it, it's not my concern. No, that concern is, well, it's up to God to deal with it, how he wants to deal with it. And so, we leave that absolutely and totally up to God to deal with. His way, according to his will. Because, yes, if there are people in that church, then, yeah. If they're supposed to receive, then they will. And God will get them to come to me in some way. So, again, I'm not concerned. I don't need to go to that church, to the tea and coffee thing, in order to find people that will never go to the tea and coffee thing anyway. Right? And even to the people that do, they can contact me in other ways, and so that's fine. Leave them to it. So there you go. You take care. God bless. I'll speak to you soon. Be a blessing, be blessed, and have a fantastic week ahead. And again, focus on your relationship with God, because what matters is your relationship with God. Because if you are supposed to be helping other people in the future, then they need to see him in you. And therefore, if you focus on them rather than your relationship with God, they will never see him in you. So focus on your relationship with God, get that right. And be led, be guided, and grow and develop. Enjoy. Bye-bye.